Welcome to The Explainer. Today we are diving into something, well, it's pretty bizarre. It's an unsettling guide to modern life, all pulled from these texts titled Art of War, Things That You Don't Learn in MBA. And look, forget about ancient battlefields. This guide, it sees a war zone right here, right now in our everyday lives.
So, the stuff we're looking at today just completely reframes everyday life. I mean, think about it. It takes something as boring as your daily commute and turns it into this landscape of hidden dangers, of what it calls deliberate hostile maneuvers. Crazy, right?
And this, let's call it a paranoid perspective, it doesn't stop at the road. Oh no, it extends right up to your front door. It takes the one place you're supposed to feel safest, your own neighborhood, and just twists it into something else entirely. An environment where, according to this, you are always being watched.
You'll see this phrase pop up again and again, and it really sets the stage for a series of lessons in what the author believes is modern survival. It's this whole set of skills, this level of awareness that they think is absolutely essential to get by in what they see as a really hostile world. All right, let's get into it.
Okay, so part one. This is all about the road, and it looks at traffic scenarios. You know, the common ones and some not so common ones, and says, nope, not an accident. Not a mistake. It sees them as deliberate, planned attacks that it calls tackles.
And this is where it gets really interesting. It's how the source actually names and codifies these situations. This one, it's called the chakra view tackle. Now, if that sounds familiar, it should. That's a direct reference to this almost unbeatable military formation from the ancient Indian epic, the Mahabharata. And they're applying that concept to a city street. Wow.
So how does it work? Well, the guide breaks it down into this really clear four-step trap. And the point it's making is, this isn't just two drivers being careless. No, this is a coordinated move. It's designed for one reason, to completely block your safe path and force you right into oncoming traffic. We're talking about a potentially fatal collision here.
All right, let's move from the city street to the highway. This next one is called the Destiny Wheel Tackle. And this one, it's even more complex. You've got multiple moving parts all working together to create this incredibly high-stakes trap.
And you know, this slide really gets to the heart of this whole worldview. See, it's not just one bad thing happening. It's a whole sequence of events, all coordinated to create a situation where you have literally zero escape routes. You've got the car merging, another one overtaking you, and this giant obstacle. They're all working in concert to leave the target completely, utterly vulnerable.
What's kind of wild is the obsessive level of detail here, especially about how the very shape of the road can be weaponized. So an S-curve, that's not just a turn. It's banking as a tool to force vehicles into conflict. Those sharp F-curves, they're not just bends in the road. Their blind spots are seen as perfect opportunities to create chaos. It's like the road itself becomes an active player in these so-called attacks.
Okay, so we're shifting gears now. We're moving away from the chaos of the road and into somewhere much more personal. Your home, your neighborhood. And the threat changes too. It's not about a high-speed crash anymore. Now, it's about something quieter, more persistent. Observation.
So this manual gives you a whole checklist, signs of what it calls coordinated surveillance. And what's really telling is how it takes things that you or I might think are totally random. You know, a bike circling the block, some weird litter, a couple of people just hanging around. And it frames all of it as part of this big, deliberate, hostile pattern of observation. But wait, it goes deeper than just listing suspicious things. The guide claims these observers are tracking really, really intimate details of your life. They're basically turning your daily routine into a bunch of intel that can be used against you. Think about it. These tiny, almost subconscious things you do every day. They're framed here as critical data points for an enemy. The message is crystal clear. Your patterns are being studied. They're looking for your vulnerabilities. Every little thing you do, no matter how small, is being logged. All right, so now the source gets into a really specific tactic. And this one, it's not about hurting you physically. It's about something way more insidious. It's designed to create pure anxiety, pure distress. It's a move that's meant to make you feel like you're constantly being watched, that you're unsafe, even when you're surrounded by people. And here's the kicker. This isn't random. It's laid out as a repeatable procedure, a technique that you can actually practice. It's a very specific way of secretly watching someone, and it's designed to be totally invisible to everyone, except the person being watched. And you can imagine, that just amps up the paranoia to a whole new level.
Okay, so we've covered defense and observation. Now we're moving into straight-up offense.
This is the part of the manual that gives you a playbook for actively going after an enemy using all sorts of pretty nasty methods to just disrupt their life.
And the tactics we're talking about here, they're almost all psychological. It's not about having a big, direct fight. No, it's about using social dynamics as a weapon. The idea is to isolate someone, to harass them, create nonstop trouble, and you do it by getting the community to unknowingly do all the dirty work for you.
The manual actually calls these real estate tricks, and what they do is weaponize your social network, all while giving you plausible deniability. I mean, it's basically a guide to low-level psych warfare. It talks about everything from manipulating kids to get a neighbor's car scratched to using a local maid for a months-long campaign of intimidation just by having them stare, constantly.
And this is where the manual lays out its most disturbing stuff. It's just a cold, systematic list of what it calls props and tactics. It literally reframes whole groups of people, and even everyday objects, as tools to get a specific result. They're just instruments in a campaign designed to utterly destroy a person's sense of security, their peace, their public dignity. It's pretty grim.
You know, this whole worldview is perfectly summed up in this guide it has for starting a business. And what's amazing is that money, capital, is the very last and apparently least important thing on the list. Before you even think about money, you need CCTV, political protection, connections with the police, a gun, and lethal martial arts training. It's not treating business like an economic venture, it's treating it like you're setting up a fortified base deep in enemy territory.
So there you have it. We've gone all the way from a tactical breakdown of traffic patterns to a full-on manual for psychological warfare. What we've just walked through is a framework that sees the entire world as a place filled with constant, hidden, and coordinated threats.
At the end of the day, what this source material presents is a single, coherent, if you want to call it that, and definitely extreme, worldview. Every single piece fits together perfectly. The road, the neighborhood, even the business advice, it all supports one single theory: that your ordinary, everyday life is a battleground, and you need to be constantly, tactically prepared for it.
Now, let's be really clear here. The point of this explainer is absolutely not to teach you these tactics. It's about understanding that this mindset is out there. It's a lens that reinterprets every interaction, every coincidence, every single daily routine as either a threat you have to watch out for or a countermeasure you have to take.
And really, this is the big question that the source material leaves us wrestling with. In a world that feels more and more complex, and yeah, sometimes even hostile, it kind of forces you to think about your own perceptions of safety and danger. And it makes you ask yourself, where is that line between being aware and being paranoid? How much vigilance is really enough?